I love money, but I don't love men who have more money than I do. So, torn between my successful high school sweetheart and a seemingly directionless bad boy with bleached blonde hair, I ignored my parents' objections and married the bad boy, because he always knew how to make a quick buck, and he always let me take the lion's share. 3 years later, we closed another massive deal. When it was time to split the cash, my bad boy husband, Arthur, asked me, "Do you want the money, or do you want me?" "I want the money." He didn't take a single cent from that deal. Instead, he looked at me and said, "Then let's get a divorce." I stopped counting the cash and looked at Arthur in surprise. He knew I loved money. In the past, we would always playfully argue over the split, but in the end, he would always let me take more, making sure I was just a little bit richer than him. We never fought. During our entire relationship, he had never even mentioned breaking up, yet today, he was asking for a divorce. I asked blankly, "Why do you want a divorce?" Standing by the door, he stopped in his tracks, wearing his usual playful grin. "You always get the bigger cut. It's not fair." His gaze fell on the remaining stack of cash on the table. He raised an eyebrow and said, "It's all yours. I'm out of here." My foot twitched toward the door. This wasn't the first time he'd played a trick like this. He'd throw a little tantrum and then come right back. I looked back at the money on the table and pulled my foot back. Our profession was scouting out old streets and neighborhoods that were likely targets for redevelopment and buying up the properties. Take this latest deal, for example. We calculated that this specific street was primed for demolition, so 2 years ago, we started buying the old houses door to door. We paid above market value back then, but today, the massive redevelopment payout had just hit our accounts. But to my parents, without a physical storefront or a traditional 9-to-5 job, we were just irresponsible slackers. The next evening, in a rare display of domesticity, I cooked dinner and called him. "Stop messing around. I made dinner. Hurry up and come home." On the other end of the line, he said he wasn't coming back. I twirled the ends of my hair around my finger and threatened casually, "If you're not back by midnight, I'm going to get back together with Liam." With that, I hung up, a confident smile on my face. Arthur, who was usually easygoing, would explode and get insanely jealous the moment he heard my ex's name. I sat leisurely on the couch, eating fruit and watching the news, while simultaneously researching which street we should buy up next. It wasn't until the clock hit 11:30 p.m. that a wave of panic hit me. I had never felt this kind of imbalance before. I gripped my phone tightly, staring at the minutes slowly ticking away on the screen. Finally, at exactly midnight, there was a knock at the door. I practically sprinted to the entryway and pulled it open. "Miss, your courier package. Please sign here." A courier in a blue uniform stood at the door. I opened the envelope. Inside was a formal divorce agreement. He was serious? The courier glanced at the document in my hands. "Miss, please sign quickly. I still have to return it." Who gets a divorce in the middle of the night anyway? I felt a sting of humiliation. I grabbed a pen, hastily scribbled my signature, and slammed the door shut. Then, I immediately called Arthur, but he sent me straight to voicemail. I quickly opened our text thread and started typing furiously. "Liam has been visiting my parents a lot since I dumped him. He's coming over for dinner tomorrow, and I'm going too.